The Indie Council is in session. Welcome. This is a place for the leading voices from across the industry to talk and gather and talk and gather and talk, gather, whichever way it is. News, titles, and everything indie. I'm your master of ceremonies, Jill Grote, the Indie Informer, and with me on the council today, making moves at Geeks and Grounds, Soft Not Week, Kepler Interactive, and Wholesome Games, and also ready to jump on a plane at any moment, Jenny Wyndham.
Hello.
Hi,
That is
Jenny. How are
true.
you?
I still need to pack. You actually reminded me.
Oh, she'll be like running around while we're doing all of this.
Yeah.
And then the creative director of 6-1 Indie and tempting people to attend concerts rather than work, Mike Towndrow.
Jenny, you going?
Oh my
You
gosh,
going?
I want to so badly.
Come on.
He's unrepented.
You need to see Blink. You're hearing these new songs?
Oh my
Incredible.
gosh. My childhood is in that show. That entire show is my childhood.
So
Yeah.
good.
What if we all just showed up and like went and it was a special moment for everyone?
Listen, if the indie forum wants to pay for a flight to Vegas
Yeah.
and tickets, yeah, I'm all about it.
And for folks who don't know, because I guess we like kind of jumped into that with no context, I'm headed to TwitchCon this weekend for work. And the When We Were Young festival is also happening at the same location. And my God, I am very tempted.
Yeah.
Just sneak in there.
There's
Just a
influencers at the
quick little.
festival, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I bet you we could. She hasn't been on for the past couple of episodes because she's been eaten by a spider.
Dun dun dun.
And I made this joke already, but I'm going to do it again. Same time Spider-Man things are starting to pop out. I don't think it's a coincidence. Mm-mm.
Wow, a member of the indie council playing
This
a
is big.
AAA game. Wow,
No,
blasphemous.
she refused and she fought the
That's
system
true.
and the
Yeah,
spiders came after her.
that's true. She told off Brian Intihar and all of Insomniac, and Brian sent the spiders on her.
Sent the spiders after
Yeah,
her. What if we could get Janet Garcia to get some of that kind of funny money?
it's true. Greg Miller
I'd love
loves
it.
Newfound Glory.
Greg Miller, come hang out with us in Las Vegas. Let's go.
He won't. He's a coward.
Moving on to indie news. Spirity has gone gold. And I want to disclaim here because I don't know if I'm supposed to disclaim this or not, but I backed this game before I was like in any sort of official capacity covering news. Um, so I am in this game
Yeah,
and therefore cannot be totally objective about it. I'm just very excited to see that the news has gone gold. The interesting thing is that it's gone gold, but it has no release date yet, which is a very odd situation. I think it has a lot to do with we talked about the busy season a couple episodes ago, just trying to figure out how to weave and dodge all of the AAAs that are coming down and shooting spiders at people. We know they're out there. And then I did want to do a quick note on the term gone gold because I do get a lot of people asking me why this term exists. A lot of people know from context, gone gold means that a game is essentially done and it is almost ready to go out the door. It is packed up. But I'm going to read the definition here from Urban Dictionary because they have a they have a surprisingly comprehensive and very to the point definition. So, gone
the
gold,
the only source I trust for all my gaming terms.
'It's true.
100%. Yeah. Please tell me what this means. And then most of the time it's like, oh, okay. Never saying that. Um, a game has gone gold when the final master copy has been produced at the developer and sent off for replication, packaging, and shipment. The game is not yet released, but it will typically be around 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes less, before it begins appearing on store shelves and online pre orders arrive at doorsteps. The term itself comes from the old practice of recordable CDs being manufactured with gold film, hence the gold colored CD actually being the source, with no reference to copies sold as in the recording industry. So essentially, I'm old enough to remember this. Everyone, I think, on this council is old enough to remember this time period when you could write a CD and everyone had disk drives. I feel too old to be saying that like it's old history, but there are people alive who wouldn't know.
Isn't it weird that like burning CDs is not a thing anymore?
It's not a thing anymore.
It's not a
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Weird. I mean, I
So,
guess like the new version is just like Spotify playlists, but like that's not fun.
yeah, it's going to come back. People are going to start learning how to press their own vinyls and then
God, I wish. Oh, you know how much bootleg shit I'd have? Oh,
so much. But you would burn the game onto a golden CD and then send that out for it to be copied and whatever. So going gold literally attached to that process. And I feel old that I'm like, I probably should explain this for some people, and some people want to know. So that is the situation there. I hope you learned something. We're not going too deep into the history. If you like the history lesson, this has just been a little history snack. Let's look to the future with the Indie Horror Showcase coming up
woo!
October
Yeah.
19th. Probably by the time that this comes out, the showcase will either be like imminent or just passed. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It is a collaboration between The Mix and Dread XP. They are showing off all kinds of spooky, scary things, and they say, "Welcome to the Indie Horror Showcase, run by Dread XP, Horror Visuals, and The Mix. On October 19th, we'll be streaming the showcase across Twitch and YouTube right here on our Steam event page. I'll put that link down below. You saw all the creepy games, spooky moments, and thrilling reveals during our showcase. Now, check them out on Steam." So this is afterwards. Once you've seen the showcase, go to Steam because from here, you'll be able to play any demos and add any games featured in the showcase to your wish list. That's going to come up later in the show. We encourage you to check out each and every one of them. So when you are done watching what I assume is going to be very spooky, I'll watch through my hands, through my fingers. I watched Mike a little bit play a spooky game, and I
Yeah.
dived out of there before it got too spooky.
You left out a good moment. There's a lot of so they put out a big graphic showing all like the partners and all like the teases and whatnot. And this conversation is going to be irrelevant by the time this podcast posts, so whatever. There's a lot of exciting stuff on this list. I'm really stoked to see like things from Torture Star Video, which is essentially the oh my god, I forgot, I'm blanking out. Papa Combo. It's essentially the Papa Combo folks. An old client of mine is on this list, Villainous Game Studios, which I'm really stoked about. Black Tabby is on this list, so I'm assuming some sort of launch activation for Slay the Princess, which is really cool. Raw Fury. Um, yeah, I'm really excited to see what Dread XP and the Mix have up their sleeves. Also, a lot. I think we're getting 2 reveals from Dread XP themselves, including, I believe, the new game from the Mortuary Assistant team, which is exciting.
Oh,
Uh,
what can we assist this time?
maybe
Who
something more
knows?
wholesome. We'll see.
Bird
Uh,
watching 101.
and a little bit of a inside baseball kind of thing. During the August Mini Indie Showcase, I ended by saying that we have something else up our sleeves for 2023. Originally, it was a horror showcase, and then I saw Dread XP and the Mix were doing this, and we were like, let's not do a horror showcase. So we pivoted.
Do you still have something up your sleeve for 2023, or are you
Oh, yeah.
pivoting to 2024?
No, pivoting is 2023.
Oh, ooh,
Ooh.
okay.
It's happening.
Everybody,
Heard it here first.
yeah, you did. It's a scoop, y'all. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad it's at 10 a.m. Pacific time because the sun will be shining and I won't have to be too worried about it.
Oh, I have to wake up early for this? God damn it.
You're on the wrong coast, sir.
Yeah. I have winter. I have a fall here. It's very pleasant right now.
I have a fall. It's 70.
Yeah, that's too much.
Oh God.
I
Too
also
much.
apparently had an earthquake today too, which I
Yeah,
didn't know about.
exactly. I'm on the right coast.
No, I would so much rather have an earthquake than like a tornado or a hurricane or whatever you guys deal with.
I've never
Get out
had
of
to
here with
deal
that.
with a tornado.
You want to talk about horror showcases?
My
Have a
life is
cow
horror
go by
showcase.
me. I originally put this in as just like, hey, let's talk about our favorite Next Fest demos, but I pivoted at the last minute because I'm like, you know what? I really want us to fight. I want us to get in there, take our gloves off, and get dirty. So I want to crown the top 3 Next Fest demos.
Ooh.
In
And I
like
think
3 combined or 3
No,
each?
3
3
total.
total.
We all have to fight each other for the top 3.
Good thing we all played the exact same demos.
Yeah. Good thing
Mhm.
Played every single one.
I have all the answers. It's okay. I can just name 1, 2, and 3 for us, if
Good
that's okay, Mike.
good thing I made a list of everything because I'm very organized,
I
and
know, I
I'm not
definitely
actively going
didn't.
into my YouTube descriptions to see time codes.
So I wanna throw 2 out, which I'm pretty sure at least one of them is gonna be number 1, but they're boring. Yeah, of course. Everybody do it. Everyone who knows what's up. Another Crab's Treasure deserves to be in the top 3, and I'm gonna argue for it for top game of a demo of the Next Fest because it was absolutely fantastic. I had played it back originally when they first had their first hands-on experience at Day of the Devs. That portion of the demo was now the tutorial portion, and then when you jump into the new demo, you can see how much work they've done. They've put so much effort into, like, animations and his little cute little voice, and they have more options of, like, here's a special attack thing that you can do, and I'm trying to remember all the special attacks. All the environments are looking amazing, and, like, crowded's not the right word, like, more complex, and I love it. It was so, so, so good. I don't think I played a better game at the Steam Next Fest. So, does anyone want ooh, Jenny wants to fight. Let's go, Jenny.
I have another nominee for
Okay.
the top 3.
Okay.
American Arcadia.
Oh, okay.
That demo I thought was quite outstanding for the narrative focused homies out there. This is probably one of the strongest narrative entries in the Next Fest, as well as if you enjoy games that are that 2D puzzle platformer vibe, like Inside or Limbo, but without the doom and gloom of Inside or Limbo. Like the environments are stunning. The scale of them, the polish of the artwork is beautiful, and more than anything, the structure of this narrative was really, really compelling. It felt like you were playing an episode of a show, basically. I don't know if anyone's watched like Severance, for example, but it
Yeah.
felt very
Oh yeah.
much like playing Severance in a lot of ways. Um, it has this retro futuristic vibe. So you're set in kind of like this 1970s esque um, world that seems like it could be utopic, could be dystopic, but there's got this retro future vibe, and the voice acting is just impeccably done. I love the mechanic where as you end up controlling 2 characters, but one character you control in a traditional manner, whereas the other one is actually helping the other character from afar, and so you're controlling the security cameras to help manipulate things in this office that you're in the demo. And the demo ends on a literal like cliffhanger. It was so good. I actually like yelled when the demo was done because I did not want it to be over. So that for me was like standout storytelling all around, and I cannot wait. And it's coming out November 15th, so I'm just like done. I'm. They don't send me a key. I will just buy it day one.
That'll show them.
Yeah. And that's a Raw Fury title as well. It's Out of the Blue Games and Raw Fury.
Nice.
Yeah, 100%. I played a version of this some time ago. I am actually like, in my head I was thinking this has come out already, so I'm excited to hear that it was in the show, and so I'm going to back that. I think that's a top 3. Mike, what do you got for us?
I'm between 2.
Okay.
But first off, I want to give a special shout out, a big special shout out to Claw Machine Sim. Because
Okay.
legit, probably the most fun I had during Next Fest. It is incredible. um, so the 2 on between are Yellow Taxi Go Vroom
Mhm.
and Go Mecha Ball. Real quick with Yellow Taxi Go Vroom, I think we talked about it last week, but it's essentially Mario 3D World meets Crazy Taxi. It's a little platformer where you are a wind-up taxi, and you are platforming around. You're collecting coins. You are essentially collecting stars, and to add time to your level, you are doing the Crazy Taxi gameplay loop of picking up passengers and dropping them off at your destination to get more time in order to get all the stars, do all the collectibles, potentially beat some bosses. It is delightful. It's great. I suspect it's coming soon because I was popping achievements, so I'm really excited to just go all in on that. And Go Mecha Ball from Whale Peak Games and Super Rare Originals. It's just a bonkers arcade experience, like a roguelike arcade experience where you play as a mech who could turn into a ball. So think Samus, I guess, like top down isometric. A kind of like an arena based sort of twin stick shooter where you just like are going through waves, like attacking foes and collecting new weapons and balancing ammo and going around ramps and dashing and dodging, and it's like a really chaotic, vibrant, thrilling time. You eventually get to an end boss that is super fun and bombastic. I just had such a ball, no pun intended, playing this game throughout the demo. Even after stream, I ended up returning and playing it a few times just because it quickly got its roguelike hook into me, and like I just wanted to like see all the augments, see all the weapons, see what bosses are hiding around each corner. So yeah, it's a really good time. So I'm probably gonna put Go Mecha Ball because it's been stuck in my mind since Next Fest, and I really can't wait to play more of it.
Okay. I'm going to throw two more out just to make
Oh, I
it.
thought we were just gonna do a clean
Nope.
three.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was like, oh, this was
No,
easy.
I'm going to
Great
argue
job,
with you
no.
everyone.
guys. No,
Fine,
okay.
fuck it, Claw
So
Machine Sim.
let's go. Um, I want to argue for Enshrouded. I don't know if you've jumped into that. I know, Mike, that you had that downloaded, but it's still up for the next week. So you and I need to jump into this.
Okay.
I don't know, Jenny, if it's your kind of thing, if you're into Valheim or not, but
No, I mean, I have heard the Enshrouded hype for sure, but it
yeah.
is not my typical kind of game.
And I want to throw out that whatever metrics the game developers are given after Next Fest is done, Enshrouded was the top demo of
Yeah.
the show.
Mhm.
So just for that reason, I want to be contrary and be like, they can't be on the top of our list either. But I do want to shout them out because they're amazing. But I also want to throw out Wild Country, just because this is the first time I got to actually put my hands on it. I got to view it slash sort of play it at PAX, but this was the first time I really went in, and it is charming and silly and dumb in the way that I love all of those things to combine, and you are essentially competing for the title of mayor by playing cards and building cities. It's just the dumbest thing, and I got so into it. I was like saying mean things to squirrels or whatever. And that's what you want in a video game. When you are transported into a place where you are taking on woodland creatures. So Wild Country is what I want to argue for. Anybody else want to throw a title in there?
Has anybody played Honked a Clown Noir?
No,
I
I have not played
downloaded it,
Honk
but I
to
have
Clown
not played it.
Noir.
Uh,
Is it terrifying? It sounds
no, it
terrifying.
is delightful.
Looked
It is.
Oh, okay.
amazing.
It looks.
Okay.
It is amazing. So, Honk the Clown Noir is a narrative adventure game where you play as a private investigator who is hired by a clown to find where her loved one is. Like he just randomly disappeared, and you get hired to, yeah, investigate, do the PI kind of thing. She kind of tricks you into going into it's essentially like it's very Alice in Wonderland. So like she does something and all of a sudden you go down the rabbit hole and all of a sudden you're in clown side and the game opens like after that initial cutscene of like just the setup. The game opens with a character creator and you could essentially make your own clown. So you just turn into a clown. And yeah, the gameplay loop. She tells you they have to go to three certain areas because these three individuals might have information about the clown in question. Uh, so you are going around having conversations with folks, but usually each main conversation has kind of like I guess, a platforming objective tied to it. The twist on it is that your main mode of, let's say, solving puzzles is balloon animals or balloon sculptures. So each time you have an interaction, you will unlock the ability to make a new balloon sculpture. So, for example, the one that had like an actual like mechanic behind it is a flower. Like you could literally with like a thumbstick or like a mouse or whatever, you are pumping a balloon up and tracing what a flower would look like, and all of a sudden you have it in your hand, and the flower would help you kind of like propel in the air and do some gliding. So like one of the challenges, for example, was gliding through a bunch of circles to make it to like the other side or whatever, to have that conversation with the person who might have some information for you. It's really damn delightful. It's really funny. It's goofy as all hell. I think the dev said it's going to be like a quick hour experience. So I think from what I played was like most of like it might have been the entire game maybe, but I think there are some extra interactions getting added to it, some extra like platforming challenges, some gameplay stuff. He mentioned it's only going to be like $3 and it should be coming soon. I'm super excited to re-experience it again because it's charming as all hell. It's very reminiscent of like not as like obviously emotionally gripping, but it's very reminiscent of like a short hike or Gator game or something like that.
I
Some
don't know.
clowns,
Clowns.
That's cool.
cute clown,
Oh,
huh? Very
I mean,
cute.
have you played like Dropsy? I remember that was maybe my first like
Dropsy's a
clown.
gnarly one.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I
Mm-mm.
was gonna say that's my first clown game memory was Dropsy. But
One of the first games I ever covered as media was Ao the Clown.
yeah,
Heyo.
wow.
Very cute platformer featuring a
Yeah.
clown.
Okay,
That's
I
Go
have
ahead,
great.
one
Rob.
I'll throw into the mix
Okay.
as well. This one this one got me just cuz I was like it's not pretty necessarily. Like I looked at it and I'm just like, "Oh, I don't know if I enjoy the graphics," but then the mechanics were super interesting. Lucky Hero. It's a roguelike like slot machine symbol building game where you basically spin the wheel of fortune. You pick slots that represent the different actions you want to take in battle, like the slot symbols, place them in specific places, and you basically learn to strategize your placement. And there's the randomizer luck when you like pull essentially the wheel or pull the slot, and you create combos like that. It's not unlike it reminded me a little bit of Backpack Hero in sort of this
Okay.
way of taking battles and turning it sort of on its head where you're not actually directly combating. You're doing this other action that's a lot of management and a lot about synergies more than actually like brute strength. Um, Really interesting. I played the demo for far longer than I was expecting because for me, I found the UI to be like a little bit overwhelming and this I don't even know what the story's about. You're just fighting monsters. But the mechanic was so fun. I kept playing because it was super interesting. And eventually you fill it's like a 4x4 sort of symbol slot sort of machine wheel looking thing, and eventually you fill up all of those slots with different symbols and that creates like your build for the run. It was really good. I'm doing a bad job of explaining it because it's just so unlike anything I've really played before.
Mhm.
And admittedly, I'm like, I don't know the the whole slot machine ethics thing, it's like, ugh, that gets a little bit dicey, but,
Mhm.
my gosh, it was such a fun and innovative way to play, so kudos to that team for sure, but
I
I
love
played it
it.
for a long time, so
They could go for the Sunshine, Shuffle route.
exactly, it's the
Digital version.
gambling games for children.
Gambling games for children and get banned from Nintendo for a few
Yeah.
weeks.
I'll throw another one out there because I'm literally wearing their hoodie. Crystalla is really
Huh?
damn
Yeah.
good. I finally went hands on with the new iteration of what this game is. I played this game back in 2019 when it was a
Mm.
fantastical Skyrim like, but now it is a dark fantasy Souls like with some of the bosses and whatnot are hence this hoodie, which is like a deathcore kind of hoodie. A lot of the bigger bosses are voiced by deathcore vocalists, which is really cool.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, Cristal is a Souls like. You play as a cat, and what the story is and what the setup is, I couldn't tell you. But you play as a cat. You're in this land. You're fighting these fish people. Some of them are rats.
Yep.
It's a good time. Just
Mhm.
These fish people who some of them are rats, some of them are slugs. Get out of here with the
the
slugs.
compared to like another crab treasure, which is obviously the more prominent next fest souls like that was in the zeitgeist. Crystalla takes inspiration from Sekiro and Assassin's Creed, so there's a
Mm.
lot of climbing on buildings, going around ropes, like doing top down assassinations, and has a great parry stagger system similar to
Mhm.
Sekiro or similar to Liza P. And it feels right. They're on the right track. It's coming late next year to PC and consoles. So the fact that this current build feels this good, I'm really excited to continue following along with the development.
I really love hearing from you about like the early development stage being kind of a Skyrim
Yeah.
because the first thing I sort of thought when I was going through this was like, I'm kind of playing as a Khajiit, and
It's yeah.
I was like, "Is that where this comes from? Is this like a fan-made Khajiit game that is now I'm sneaking up and stabbing people in the back?"
It's pretty wild. I even down in my kitchen on the refrigerator, I have a magnet of like the original concept art, and it's like a beautiful sunset, greenery all around, like really wholesome and awe striking. And now it's just like these gnarly fish dudes trying to slit your throat.
Mhm. Yeah, and I was trying to go just, like, physical stuff for a bit, and then I tried the magic out, and I'm like, "Oh, no. This magic is
The
good."
magic is OP at the moment.
Like, there is no reason to do anything else but shoot these little fireballs at people.
Dude, and the like the tornadoes and stuff. Oh,
So good.
it's great. I'm sure they're gonna nerf it in the coming
Don't
year,
do it.
but
Don't do it.
yeah, it's a great time. It's similar to another Crab's Treasure. It was like when you beat the boss, and I just want to go back and play more. I after Liza P, I've been looking for another Souls like to really delve into. I have that taste, I guess, in my mouth. So yeah, these demos scratch that itch, but now it's that like lingering wait for
Mhm.
things to happen now.
That's one of the hardest things about these Next Fest demo fest things, because it's like, I've only played half an hour of this, and I wanna play so much more, I wanna know what's happening, and I can't get anything even though if like, I can write to them and be like, "Please let me know when you have, like, a preview stuff available," but yeah, we'll have to wait for most of them, not for all of them, for a lot
Not
of
for all of them.
for a lot of them, they're coming out real soon.
Yeah, it's
So
nice.
I think for my top 3, then, I'm gonna be really boring and pick Crab Game, obviously. I'll go with American Arcadia. I was not prepared for that to come out of left field, and then I don't know, which of Mike's wild things do I pick? Oh, you see were you the most interested, do you think, in Mecha Ball?
Yeah, probably. I
Okay,
mean,
then
like, I'm not gonna lie, like Claw Machine Sim, I can't fucking wait.
well, then,
I-
should I change my vote? Should it be Claw Sim?
yeah, do Claw Sim. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So
embrace the
those are mine.
chaos.
Anybody else wants to argue one way or the other?
No,
That
I'm
sounds
pretty
good.
happy with that list.
Okay, so we are going to say our top 3 in no particular order. Another Crab's Treasure, American Arcadia, and Claw Machine Simulator?
Hold on, I'll
What
get
is
that
the
exact
actual
name.
name of this game?
I think it's Claw Machine Sim.
Claw Machine Sim, everybody. Go check it out. I did get to check some of that stream out while Mike was doing it, and he bounced a ball off
The
of a
football,
pigeon's butt, and it was
wild.
fantastic.
Claw Machine Sim from, oh, I'm gonna butcher this. Uneche Sachin. I'm so
Just like that.
sorry.
And there you have it. That's the top 3 Next Fest demos. Congratulations, everybody. And for everyone
Yay.
we mentioned, we had a great time too.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of congratulating people and giving them our supports, that's a
I
segue, right?
I got distracted on the devs page. I do have a breaking news that is going to ruin that segue.
Oh, no.
Um, and you can argue that it's not indie, whatever, but it's worth talking about it because we have had a deep discussion about this in the past. Um, Zen Studios reportedly cuts staff by 32. This is coming from Jeffrey Rizzo from GamesIndustry.biz. Zen Studios, creators behind Pinball FX, has laid off 32 employees. News was spotted as Adam Dines, the community manager at the studio, took to social media to announce that he was affected and is looking for a new role. Zen Studios was acquired by Embracer back in 2020 and became a subsidiary of Saber Interactive. So yeah, just more heartbreaking news coming out of the whole
Yeah.
restructuring with Embracer.
Mm.
Fucking sucks. Zen Studios is, I feel like they don't get enough praise. They are like so good at what they do. Their
I
their pinball tables are dope. Like
yeah.
their pinball mechanics, like I feel like they are the dudes for, or the people. Everybody's a
Mm-hmm.
dude to me. The people for digital pinball.
Yeah. I we haven't really touched on this. We talked a little bit last week about Team 17 and that kind of in the indie space, but Embracer is not 100% indie. It's one of those gray areas where they get a lot of AAA or double A, some AAA, and some kind of a little bit indie there. But Embracer Group, for anybody who hasn't been keeping up with this for the last couple of years, essentially like popped out and started throwing money. Like money going everywhere to everything, and it seemed like every other day was news popping up of Embracer Group acquiring another new thing, and their studios kept getting more and more and more sort of ambitious, and everyone was sort of questioning at the time, this is wild. How are they going to make this stick? How are they getting the money for this? And a few years later now we are hearing about all of the fallout of that, as they haven't really had too much success throwing things out there. So I guess the answer to the question is like they weren't. It
Yeah,
wasn't sustainable, and now a lot of teams are getting the brunt of that.
and it sucks. Being an indie podcast and indie creators ourselves, like when it does affect folks like the Myth Force team
Yep.
or folks like Zen, it's a bummer. And even like with Epic this week, and like this is a weird tangent, but like I sort of correlated to like indie gaming stuff because it is a great platform for indie creators and indie composers.
Yeah.
All the stuff going on with Epic and
Mhm.
Bandcamp is horrible.
Yeah.
And just straight up evil, especially because like nothing came from that acquisition, and now it just feels so fucking wasted. I'm as a former like person in the music industry and stuff, and obviously like I rely on Bandcamp a lot for um, indie game compositions. Just like for example, I've been rocking the El Paso Elsewhere soundtrack and an album off Bandcamp. It's a fantastic resource for that kind of thing, and it just sucks that it's just getting tossed into the dirt or tossed through the
Mhm.
dirt.
Right. And Mediatonic is there, and I know they're not
Yep.
technically indie anymore, but they're going through the pains of uh, this is not a small company. This is not a struggling company. Epic is raking in the money.
Yep.
Like there is no bad to they didn't have a bad season. They're making profit. Um I think it's especially like weird is not really the right word, but because they very recently built a feud with another large company, saying like we're going to fight the evil companies and we're going to be the good company essentially, and then you turn around and you do this. So it doesn't, again, we talked about this, just what this might mean for the industry and how it's affecting everybody, but it's no good and no one likes it and no one wants to hear this, and I hope that we can find ways to be better in the future and for people to be better supported essentially. Like
Speaking of supporting,
I know, I
There
was
we
like,
go.
Mike,
I
that's
was
gonna
waiting
be
for
the
that
transit
segue.
over. That's gonna be the new segue, and I didn't want to go there because I'm like, I don't want to be insensitive because these are real people who are going through real
no, no,
struggles.
it's awful.
But yeah, it might dovetail well into our topic of the show, which is how to support indie devs. They are having a lot of people have the rug pulled out of them, especially with these situations. So we wanted to put together a little list of how, even if you're not, like, if you want to spend money, that's great. We've got ways to support that way. But even if you're not throwing that cash around like Embracer Group, um, you can still help. So I think that we are stealing this topic again from Janet, who, again, eaten by a spider. I'm sorry about that.
A lot of them, a whole army.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they came for her.
Those
And
Manhattan spiders.
we
That's why
appreciate
I
her
left.
thoughts. Uh, and her what she has written here, we believe it's her. I don't think any of us wrote this. We have to let people
Yeah,
in on.
process of elimination. I'm assuming this is
Yeah.
none of us.
Yeah, none of us wrote it, and we don't think. What if? Oh my gosh, you guys! What if this spiders infiltrated the the brainstorm doc?
They're passionate about indies. I respect
They're
that.
passionate. They want to know how to support indies. So the thoughts written were to write a comprehensive list of ways to support indie devs and how we do this and encourage our audience um, to do the same. So as we record, I don't know if most of you know, usually this podcast goes up on Thursday, but we record on Wednesday. So as we record, it is Wishlist Wednesday.
Woo!
Welcome everyone. I'm not sure what the origins of Wishlist Wednesday were. I was trying to find out to do a little history segment, but it seems like a kind of thing that popped up and bubbled up in a lot of different places, a lot of different times. And because everyone loves alliteration, uh it just became Wishlist Wednesday. So if you are on socials, you will find that a lot of indies attempt to get their name out there on Wednesday, Wishlist Wednesday. You'll see a lot of threads for people to share their games or people just throwing it out there with the hashtag Wishlist Wednesday. If you've never checked it out, go onto social media of your choice, type in Wishlist Wednesday and see what happens, because you will find a lot of cool games that way. I've found a lot of cool games that way, and I've reached out and said, "Hey, can you help me do a preview? Or I'm really interested in covering your game. Keep me in mind." I think the last game that I remembered specifically doing this to was Haunty, which I played at Summer Game Fest. So that was really, really cool to see that happen, where I just found them on Twitter randomly as I'm going through the Wishlist Wednesday list, and to see them go from excited to have someone reaching out about their game to being one of the highlights of a huge Jeff Keighley deal was really fun. Did any of you check out Wishlist Wednesday today?
Not today.
Not
It is
today.
usually a great resource when we are in like showcase season, like when we're just trying to scope out like really cool games that we want to invite before we like open up submissions. Like I believe that's how we linked up with Doggy Don't Care for August, which great Next Fest demo also,
Yeah,
by the way.
another one.
Mhm.
I haven't checked it out today though.
Yeah, I would say Wishlist Wednesday and like the adjacent tags Screenshot Saturday are
Screenshot
the
Saturday.
two
Yeah.
that I would use the most, that I do use the most in terms of finding games, specifically on Twitter. I feel like I haven't. I've started a little bit more on like Tumblr and some other places, but definitely Twitter is the place where all of this originated and like became most used out of all
Yeah.
the social platforms.
I've seen people try to bring them over, and I suspect that it will become
Yeah.
more popular as people start moving over more and more. You know, we don't know how long Twitter will be in the shape and form that people are
Yeah.
comfortable being there. So hopefully we see more and more of that. So that is probably like one of the best non-financial ways to support an indie, is putting it on your wish list. I just happen to know that because I am told that, but if the PR people in the room could help under me and everybody understand, why is that so important?
Jenny Miria.
Yeah, I can start and then
Okay.
you can supplement if you'd like. So wish lists serve a couple of purpose, especially at different times of a game's like development cycle. Earlier on, it's a way to show the platforms and potential funding partners the actual interest in a numeric form that there is in the game. So I think a couple episodes ago we talked about Kickstarters and how that's a really great marketing tool in a lot of respects. Wish lists are the same thing, and oftentimes that's one of the first things. Like the work I do with Kowloon Knights, the indie game fund, or just the game fund. It's not necessarily an indie game fund. One of the first things we do is look at, okay, well, what are the wish lists? How many people are following it on Steam? And so that's a really important metric that gets looked at. It's also really significant because the formula evolves, I guess, but there are formulas that developers can use to basically estimate the amount of potential sales based on the wish lists. I won't say the formula now because I swear it changes every year by a little bit, because the power that you'll hear talk about the power of a wish list, like what is the power of someone's intent to purchase. But there are formulas that people use to help calculate that. I'll pause and I'll let Mike add in as well.
You kind of nailed it already, but I guess to put it in layman's terms, a great comparison I heard was from Gerard the Completionist, where he
Mhm.
compared wish listing a game to liking a post on Twitter or subscribing on YouTube. Like, it is a numbers game, and folks like Nintendo, PlayStation, Keeley, like they pay attention to wishlist numbers, and
Mhm.
if there is an interest, likely folks will pick it up, and it'll not only benefit the indie, but it'll benefit the first parties as well. Um, Another strategic moment to really pay attention to the wish list, and folks that folks rely on wish lists are for things like Next Fest. Like, the reason that Enshrouded ended up being like at the top of that list is because it just kept generating wish lists like around, like, a little bit before Next Fest and
Mhm.
throughout Next Fest, and that's why it remains at the top of that list. And obviously you want to be at the first page of that list because that's what a majority of the people are going to stop and check out the games on. Like, it's rare. Like, people like us, yes, of course, we're gonna sift through every single page of that list and try to play as many things as possible. But the general PC gaming audience is only going to go through one, maybe two of those pages. So you want a top spot on those lists, because that just generates more attention, more wish lists, more potential sales.
Yeah, and you mentioned timing, which I think is super important because a lot of times people will be like, well, and people even think to ask when is wish listing a good thing to do. If you have the opportunity to wish list, like once a game announcement goes live, for example, or during a Next Fest beat, those are times when wish lists may provide a little bit more. I don't know how much more, but a little bit more of a boost, because if a page, for example, if a Steam page gets traction when it first launches, if it gets a certain amount of traction, there's something that does flag within the Steam systems of like, oh, this is a game that maybe we should start recommending to more people to look at because it's gotten so much traction in this small amount of time. So when you see people, or when you see studios recommending games and or announcing games and saying wish list now, we just announced this game, that is a time when your wish list could help out a little bit more, just because it's when everyone's wish listing and you're adding to this momentum to try and get them a little bit more visibility in places like Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for people like me who are writing about games, the wish list is like, selfishly, I use it very often to kind of bookmark the games I'm interested in so you don't
Mhm.
forget. So I'll go back through my wish list and be like, "Oh yeah, this is coming out, blah blah blah." And I'll get messages about like this thing on your wish list is coming out. So I'll have some heads up. But I at the indieinformer.com, I have a indie release list, and I try to keep that updated as much as possible. And I will go through and look through what is releasing. And a lot of times, if I see something on there that catches my eye that I haven't really checked out myself or I wasn't aware of before, I'll look to see where it's at popularity wise on the wish list and be like, okay, this has got some traction. I will add that on because obviously people want to see that. So even in situations where you're not looking at publishers or something, or but just for people like me who are trying to keep up with what is, the pulse of the indie scene, that's a good way to let us know so we can get more coverage up there as well. And speaking of coverage, things that people like indie creators and writers and content creators like us can do, we'll do things like streaming or writing about our games, spreading the word, writing about the games and doing previews or doing reviews and that kind of thing. And that's not something a lot of people can do. But what a lot of people can do, if you can't stream a game, if you're not writing about games, go and check those people out. Go find indie content creators and share their work. That's really all you have to do. Like, it helps not only the content creator, but it helps the specific indie that's being shown, but it also lets people know, like, hey, indies are here. They are here to stay. People are taking notice of them in a large capacity. So they don't just shrink away and they're like, "Oh, it must have been like a phase or something." Like, we want to keep the momentum going. We want to make sure that people are seeing all kinds of different things.
Es-
Obviously the one.
Especially in October 2023, where every single goddamn AAA studio is firing off on all cylinders. So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. I
um,
feel like behind the scenes, for my work, I'm trying so hard. I'm throwing things out there, And I know because people are interested in all these other games, curse you, Spider-Man, um, that I'm not seeing the same numbers that I normally would
Yeah.
for things that I'm doing, and that's harsh. That's harsh for me because, I'm putting a lot of work out on there, but also these games are good. These games are amazing and I'm loving them and I want them to get this much attention. It's just hard during the busy season.
I would say you mentioned like writing content or writing like reviews, previews, creating content, not something everybody could do. Something everybody can do though is leave Steam reviews.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Steam reviews are another vital piece of the Steam algorithm. Obviously, like every Steam page has the mostly negative, positive, overwhelmingly positive, very positive, whatever. Um People pay attention to that. Similar to how people pay attention to the wishlist numbers, people pay attention to how the user reception is for the game more
Mhm.
so than like a Metacritic or open critic or anything like that. Because even on I don't know, let's say for example I'm pitching a game to IGN, maybe IGN like how am I going to word this?
I think most of the time an outlet,
The like a
will
major
do their due
outlet, yes,
diligence.
they will check out the Steam page. If they see something is like overwhelmingly positive on Steam, it may be worth the coverage. It may be something that people are actually interested in, like reading a piece on. But
Yep.
if it is something that maybe has like 10 positive reviews, because like the number of reviews, that's what affects the phrasing of positive, very positive, overwhelmingly positive. So if it does have 10 positive reviews, maybe a major outlet won't spend their time where like that time and energy could go towards Mario, Sonic, Spider-Man, something that's gonna like guarantee clicks for that major website, which is understandable. Again, it's a business and they have to play that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, writing a quick 2 sentence review on Steam and giving that thumb up means the world.
Yeah. It's very hard to sell to your editor or your manager that you want to focus the time and energy and resources away from, surefire hits to cover a game that has 10 reviews on Steam,
Yeah, exactly.
or God forbid, mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
even there are games on Steam that I love that I have had the opportunity to cover because I can choose whatever I want to cover that have mixed reviews. And you go through and it's like, oh, maybe this is early access stuff that got changed later. But because you don't get more reviews after that, it still looks like mixed reviews. Like they
Yeah.
never fixed anything. So go check up on your games if you put bad reviews in, go check to see if they've updated some stuff as
Yeah,
well.
and even like it's also comes down to like bandwidth. Also, like using IGN again as an example, like Red Valentine has a fantastic monthly column highlighting indie games, and
Yep, yep.
there's only so much time in the world she has. So like, yeah, like unfortunately, she if there is a game on her left hand and a game on her right hand, if game left has 10 positive reviews and game right has 150,000 or whatever it may be, game right is going to win.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's not necessarily like game left could be the better game objectively or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, it's important.
I want to
That's the
imagine
story.
what game left is. Can we just make game left?
Goobies,
There
because
you
not
go.
enough people review it.
There we go.
Jenny, I
And
feel like you've
for
been wanting to say something.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to add Mike, you may have to correct me. I don't know if this is still the exact numbers, but at least from last time I remembered, for folks who are curious about the numbers behind Steam reviews, I think after 10, that is when you start getting a visible label. So you need at least 10 reviews to even get onto like
Yeah.
that curated of positive, overwhelmingly positive, all that. And I think after 50 reviews, if you still have an 80% positive or more, that's when you get a very positive. But you only get an overwhelming positive if you have over 500 reviews and if they're 95% positive. So it's like you need at least, especially because overwhelmingly positive is what people look for often on
Mhm,
Steam. Like that's the
mhm.
quick shortcut to purchasing essentially. Um, you need 500 people to give you a thumbs up. So it makes in there are 500 people. I don't know if there are 500 people listening or watching to this, but it's like that is not a huge number in the big scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things. And you taking like 1 minute just to write a sentence about what you liked about the game and giving it a thumbs up, if you really did like it, can really make a big difference.
Yeah. And putting the cart before the horse a little bit on this one. Before you review, go buy the game.
Yeah, you
That's
should
another
also buy the
way.
game.
Yeah, if you are looking to financially support indie developers, buying their game is a great way to do that. um, so you can buy the game. Just speaking of ways, if you're looking for financial ways to do it, you can buy the game. You can back a game on crowdfunding. We just talked about all of that, so go check out that episode. You can pay for game in early access. That helps the team continue the development onto what the final product will be. Um, I put this down here as a question mark because Jill does not know the answer to this, and maybe you guys do. Like, what's up with merch? How does this merchandise work for indie stuff? Like, is that
Like
helping
awareness.
or
Yeah, it's what it's I'm actually going through some of this currently myself right now and evaluating things. Merch from my learnings is not usually a profit maker, I think in any industry, especially for indies, but it is something like you were saying, Mike, for awareness and for hype. So if you see merch being made available, if you have the means to purchase it, or if you don't, spreading the word about it to maybe people who would be interested is helpful, because merch is not something indies typically make a ton of money on. So that's where a lot of extra support really is needed.
100%? And then moving on from financial uh kind of help and just spreading the word kind of help, I want to get a
Mhm.
little more deep into things that can be a little more complicated, but still great options. If you see something bad going down, shout it out, call it out, put a light on it. Like things we talked about Unity recently, we just talked about what's happening with Embracer and Team 17. It's not supporting in the same way of like supporting a game or supporting a certain developer, but is supporting the space that allows for indies to happen. So with Unity, that was a really like interesting interesting
That's
uh
a way to put it.
yeah, that's one way to put it. A situation because Unity would have let that go if everybody had been okay with it and just let it slide under. That would have been what had happened. People would have to start paying per download, and indies would be in trouble for that. But because there were so many voices shouting out, like, this is not okay, the big company backed down and started doing things that would be better. I'm not going to say everything is great and everything's resolved, but it is better now for like for the future that we see at the moment. We don't know what will come of it, but that is a win. That is a way that indies were supported. It was not only the developers, but people like us and people like everybody watching were saying, this is not okay. We're not going to support this. We're not going to stand by and let it happen. That's a fantastic way to support the community and the space of an indie so that indies can continue to thrive and to happen. Same thing with like if you're at a convention, stop by the indie section and check those games out and try something out that you have never heard of before and you weren't thinking about when you got there, and spreading the word when you play it and you love it.
Listen,
Uh,
pro tip about like PAX East in particular, the walls of PAX East, bangers all around. The border of PAXs fucking rule. So
yeah,
go pay attention to those games.
it's like grocery shopping. Go around the border.
Yeah. And then infiltrate on the inside.
Yeah, and then I think watching indie focused showcases. Obviously, we were talking about spooky showcase, which you can go check out at the Mix on their YouTube or on their Twitch channel. Mix puts a lot of good stuff out. 61 Indie does an amazing indie showcase. Um, and then I think the last thing I kind of want to end it on is just like,
Well, so does
oh,
Wholesome and all these other fine folks.
also wholesome. Sorry, Jenny. Sorry, Jenny. Wholesome and probably Janet's connected to one too.
I was gonna say
Um,
the 6-1 showcases don't exist without like Wholesome and Glitch and all these other folks. So shout out.
Yeah. There are a lot of amazing, like, that's a really cool thing. Even back when I was at Game Informer, like, we were covering some of these indie showcases because they're just getting that big and they're getting that like, you can't just ignore them. And people are really excited about them. And a lot of it is like our readers want to know about it. Or I say it as if like it's present tense, but in the past. Uh, Game Informer readers want to know about that stuff, and then before Game Informer writes about it, and that's another way to support. Can I move on to my last note, Mike, or do you wanna throw something in there really fast?
Yeah. Oh no, because I have something to correlate to this. So yeah, go for it.
Okay. So my last note is just say something nice to a developer. Make sure that they know that they are appreciated. They like the internet and social media and the way that most of the time creators are in contact with people tends to shovel negativity their way. And that's not good for mental health. That's not good for them getting their product out there. That's not good for people who are thinking about jumping into this space and seeing all of this vitriol being thrown around. Um, Say something nice. Make a developer's day. You see something that looks cool, reach out and be like, "Hey, that looks cool." You know, if you are watching something you're like, "Yeah, I don't know about that." Don't feel compelled to reach out and tell them mean things or sad things. I mean, obviously, if you want to, like, hey, I noticed this and it could help to work with this, maybe. But, unless they're looking for feedback, perhaps keep that to yourself. But say something nice. Tell them you love their work. Tell them that their tweet was funny. I think even going beyond, um, like, game developers, I do this a lot with writers that I work with, uh, and and a lot of time PR people who work out to me or who reach out to me because you don't get a lot of compliments in this space. And having someone go like, "Hey, that pun was really dumb and really fun, and I loved it," can just make your day, you know? So be nice, share positivity, share happiness, share like fight against the negativity of the internet. Mike.
Two quick things. Kind of like piggybacking off that. It's super easy to retweet a developer's tweet promoting their game.
Yeah, 100%.
A simple little tap that goes a long way. Um, and kind of on the same note, if you see a dev or there's a game that you really enjoy and you're playing or whatever, if you see the dev post on the Steam blog, engage with the blog post. Like start the conversation. There is that line of dialogue directly between consumer and, or I should say, player and developer. It's a great way to kind of make that, I don't know, forge that relationship between like the two sides of the industry. I always try to encourage my clients to really get creative with their Steam blogs, whether it is a Q&A, whether it is like a highlight of a character or whatever it may be. Yeah, it's just a really fun and easy way to just start that dialogue. Same goes for like joining Discord servers and stuff like that. We're all
Yeah,
human, so be nice.
yeah, I was gonna add, based on like what Mike and Jill were both saying too, like a lot of indie devs in the work that I do with them and like a lot of the consultation that I'll do with them, one of the biggest like I think anxieties that a lot of developers have is starting up a community and having no one show up and no one talk. And so if you it's a nice like middle ground between, hey, maybe you don't have the money to spend or they don't even have a game out for you to purchase, but maybe you want to do something more than just retweeting. Being a part of their community and getting involved and like popping into their Discord and answering, a lot of developers will just say, "Hi, what are you all up to?" And just answering and talking back can really help alleviate, I think, a lot of the anxiety that I feel like I hear about with a lot of, especially smaller devs, trying to create their first communities, trying to make it in the space. I think all of us, maybe on some level, it's just a human thing. You don't want to like shout into the void and have nothing come back. And so
Mhm.
I think if you're able to make a developer feel heard in that way, and you're really like, if you're part of the Goobies gang, go see if there's a Goobies Discord and talk to those devs. I think that's a great way. And also to add on to that, understanding that developers are human. And so when they are posting about things that aren't good news, like Jill was saying, understanding that game dev is also more than just game dev. It's about people making games. So, understanding when games are delayed, not ragging anyone or like pulling anyone down about that is really important. So yeah, more of the being positive and
Yeah.
kind.
And I love that I'm seeing more of that. Like when people
Hmm.
say, "Hey, I've got to delay something," or we get an entire showcase of delays. People can, you know, say, "Hey, I am excited for this game, but I recognize that I want this game to be the best and not have you tear yourself apart trying to make it for a deadline." And people have been really cool about that. I also really love watching indie showcases and watching the comments. Like, if you watch a lot of bigger showcases, I turn those comments off so fast because there are just so many people there just to be rude and mean.
Mhm.
Um, and it is so lovely and refreshing to watch the comments in indie showcase. A lot of the time, if uh, people are there because they want to celebrate and support, and it's a lot of fun. So keep it up, all of you great indie supporters.
Yeah, I think like I think I could speak for Wholesome as well. Like at least for the mini indie showcase, I feel so lucky that like our chats so far have been
Oh,
so
yeah.
positive and so enthusiastic, and there's no bullshit like where's Silk Song kind of stuff. It's just like people wanting to see new cool fucking games, and it's a party every time. It's
Yeah.
legit
Mhm.
my favorite part of the process. Like where like there's always like those nerves of like, oh, is anybody gonna watch? Isn't this? Blah, blah, blah. But like seeing the chat pop off for like for example like for hot buns like during that moment like when we shot that part and I had that whole line leading into that stellar fucking trailer. I had to hold on to that for months. I was like, I need to be like, I don't care what my flying situation is. I need to be in the chat when that moment happens. And like that payoff felt so good, not only for myself, but for the devs as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, just be nice and enthusiastic and engage in chats and don't always clamor for Silk Song for even like with Nintendo's Indie World presentations or anything like that.
Yeah. And y'all are doing this. Anyone who's watching us, we know
No,
you're
yeah.
out there being supportive and enthusiastic. Light the way for other people. Be a beacon. uh Speaking of being a beacon, let's talk about games we've been playing. Follow us onward into some amazing games. We have a couple of games that are coming out as this podcast is being posted. Is that right? They're like coming
Yes.
out
Mhm.
today. Today being the day we post, not the day we're recording.
Or unless we have
Um,
tech issues yesterday. Who knows?
unless we have, yeah, who knows?
Time has no meaning
The
here.
other day, maybe.
Tech has been mean to us recently, but
God, I have anxiety about this situation tonight.
I.
We'll see.
It's okay, Mike. Be positive. Be a beacon. We were
Be
just
a
talking
beacon.
about it.
The bald beacon rises.
So the first thing I want to jump into, me and Mike have been playing Leica Aged Through Blood. Mike, how are you feeling about it?
I like this game. That's the first time I
Ka-doomps.
said that joke.
Yep. Did
Uh,
that sound natural? Like we were laughing for the first time?
if anything, I sounded less natural. um, yeah. So, Leica Age Through Blood. This is developed by Brainwash Gang. Dope dev name, by the way.
Mhm.
Published by Head Up. It is a Motorvania that follows a mother on like a blood-soaked path of vengeance and trying to reclaim their land, for her people's land from the enemy faction, which are birds, which makes a lot of sense because it's all seagulls, which I appreciate. Also, seagulls are
Mhm.
assholes, and I really
Mm.
appreciate that they're the enemy. Um, I'm I like this game. Like genuinely, I do like this game. I think it's great. I think it's worth people's time. I will go over the positives first before I go over the critiques. The game is stunning. Like
Absolutely.
that is like wholeheartedly the undeniable shining star of like just the presentation as a whole. Like the hand drawn art and animation is just awe striking. Like I cannot believe like it's one of those games that you see it in motion and it's like how is this a video game? And that's between like the actual gameplay and some of the cutscenes that get interwoven between like key moments and some of the bigger boss battles and whatnot. I'm gonna butcher her name. I think this is how you say it, but the score from Beckley, I think is how you say her name.
Okay.
Um, incredible. Like some of the vocal tracks and just some of the instrumental tracks. It creates this bit of dissonance between the visuals and the audio the visuals and audio that is just so haunting. I highly recommend people checking out the soundtrack and the score. It's available on streaming services as of Wednesday. As of today, we're recording it. I was vibing out to that all day. The one track in particular is Playing in the Sun, I think. I just put in our Discord. Nah, it's
Playing
gone.
on the sun.
Playing on the
Playing
Sun.
into the sun. Playing Off the Sun.
Playing in the Sun. Playing in the Sun is a banger that's been stuck in my head since like starting this game, and I have not been able to get it out of my head. But so Beckley's score is fantastic. The narrative is,
Yes.
it has so much weight to it. It is so brutal. It is so real. Again, it contradicts itself a little bit in a good way, because like the game is about like coyotes and fuzzy little creatures and birds, and like you would
On
think like
motorcycles.
on motorcycles, like on a surface level, you would think like this is a lighthearted romp or whatever, that like a weird take on like this kind of like conflict between two opposing forces, but it is gnarly. Like
Yeah.
I like the way this game opens up, some of the interactions you have with the characters, some of the situations they are in. Like this game opens up with a trigger warning into what to expect out of the game and some of the interactions that you will experience. And yeah, something I put up. By the time you're listening to this, I put up like a little bite-sized review video on the 6-1 side of things. Um, Something I mentioned is like the cast of characters and the narrative that they're supporting, it has more depth than most major AAA productions nowadays. Like it is wild what Brainwash has been able to achieve with like its cast of characters and like the just the world that they built.
Right.
It's really something.
World
Um,
building starts immediately too.
right away.
They grab you, get their hooks in you, and you're just like, I can't believe that I feel this deeply about a game 5 minutes into it.
And really like as soon as you get on your bike and you're roaming, like some of the interactions between like your character Leica and like your pup and some of your family members, and like the situation you are literally just thrown into right from the get-go, you're all in instantly, and you
Yeah.
want to know more, and you want to see how things could possibly be resolved.
And a
um
really interesting choice of character. You are a mother
yep.
coyote. You are and you're not pretending not to be. You are nurturing, you care about your children, you care about your family. But you're also taking care of some business, you know?
Yeah. And in terms of gameplay, we mentioned that this is a Motorvania, which is it's essentially a Metroidvania in traditional terms, but all the combat and traversal is centered around riding on a motorcycle.
Mhm.
And like something again I mentioned in my little bite-sized review, like if you think that sounds badass, it's because it's pretty fucking badass. Brainwash Gang's unique spin on the genre is quite refreshing, and this is something I've never played before. That does come with caveats.
Yeah.
I will say the control scheme comes with quite the learning curve.
Yeah. When
There
you are vibing, when you are flowing,
when you're in the flow state, it's
you
great.
feel
Yeah,
cool. You
it's great.
feel good, you know. When you're not,
Yeah, like brainwash brainwash gang, they took a lot of creative decisions around traditional like metroidvania controls. Like for example, you have to like do a backflip to reload your weapon, do a front flip to reload your parry. The double jump is tied to a shotgun, so you have to like shoot your shotgun to the floor behind you, and then you can propel yourself up even further. It's a lot to handle, like, and you can easily stumble on the controls like while you're trying to go through what are essentially like really gnarly gauntlets. Like the
Mhm.
game is pretty unforgiving. Like I would say the combat is more like it's not really about like surviving. Really, I see that each combat room or combat situation as like a puzzle, and you have to kind of like figure out how to get through it. It's very similar to Hotline Miami, where it's one shot, one kill. So like if you make one wrong move or you maneuver something incorrectly, or if you do hit the wrong button, like it's gonna punish you for that. Thankfully, it has a very forgiving checkpoint system, which is great. Um, and like
It just makes it
almost
hard.
non-existent loading, which is great also.
Yeah, absolutely. It does make it hard during this time period where you have so many things paying for your attention.
Yeah.
And I have sort of rage quit this game on occasion, and I foresee that happening in the future as I play. I'm not 100% convinced that I am going to be able to finish this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. So I put like 7 hours into it so far because, like you, it does become tedious. And a part of that also is like navigating the world as well, and like knowing where to go next. Like there is signposting in the world. Like it does, like I don't know, for example, like at some point you have to go to the mines, and there will be a sign that literally points to the mines, but it's about finding that sign, and which initially I totally bypassed and I didn't know where the hell I was going. For each quest, it'll say like, "Oh, go west of this named area and then south." So like I did that, but I missed the sign going to the mines, and I was like lost for a little while. And that's come up quite a lot throughout the game. So it just, yeah, there's no like, there is a fast travel system, but it's not like the most convenient fast travel system. There are things like with the traversal in general, like I mentioned, you have to do flips to like reload some of your abilities and some of your weapon, or reload your weapons.
I mean, I have
Um,
things, even the smallest things, like in order to go up a ramp instead of continuing on, because it's a 2D space,
yeah,
you have to like do pop a wheelie.
so
Eh,
that's kind of where I'm getting at with this.
Yeah.
Like some of the traversal stuff like that, and like, yeah, popping a wheelie to balance on a rope. I eh, something that like it will, like there is a consequence to, is not landing on both wheels. And like if you do land awkwardly, like you do die, you have to go back to the checkpoint. I so desperately wish there was some sort of accessibility option that was like auto balancing your bike, or didn't punish you for that, or didn't like force you to do a wheelie, or kind of like did an auto reload. Like sure, it could break some of the combat scenarios, but yeah, Jill, like you're saying, like for the moments where we feel like we want to rage quit the game for a little bit, I would easily just turn that on, just so I don't have to worry about like finding the smallest little ramp to try to do a front flip on or a back
Right.
flip on,
Because
and
the
risk dying because I fall on my head.
yeah, the amount of times that I've been like, I just destroyed those people. I am cool. I've got the wind flowing through my hair. Look at me bikering down the road. And then, oh, I just missed my turn. Let me go back. No, I missed it again. Let me go back. No, no, I tripped on my face. Now I'm dead.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
that's the worst, when you take out, when you feel like you took out the entire section of a map, of the map, um, and you just fall on your face accidentally because you took a lip too like abruptly or something, and then all of a sudden all those enemies respawn. Like there was a moment where I figured out like, this is another like kind of like accessibility, like visual thing. Like a lot of the boss encounters like zoom out really far out, because a lot of the bosses have like a large scale and you're like a little coyote, which is really cool in terms of scale. But like there's so many times I just couldn't see which way my bike was facing. Another similar moment was a side quest where I missed triggering the actual side quest. I went all the way up this mountain to do like the main thing, and I went all the way back down the mountain, and then I talked to the person, and she's like, "Hey, you have to go do the thing all the way up on the mountain." I was like, "Oh, you really? Okay." So I start traversing all the way back up to the mountain, and like right at the bottom, I trip or whatever, because again, like it could be a little tedious and a little tricky to navigate some of the ramps and whatnot. I trip, and then all of a sudden, all those gauntlets that I finally got through, they're back, and I have to go try to either speed through them or wipe them out again. And yeah, it's moments like that. Like again, like the checkpointing and stuff is really forgiving, but like doing the Hotline Miami loop of doing it over and over and over again for something as big as a Metroidvania, and an ambitious Metroidvania, it wears on you.
yeah.
Again,
I'm
I think it's great. I think like it's worth your time, especially for the visual presentation and the narrative. And if you can get accustomed to the control scheme and like really find your flow state, awesome. But like it's definitely going to test your patience.
yeah. It's definitely going to help if you go in thinking of it like a trials game.
Yeah,
Uh, if you're expecting that to happen and that's just going to be part of the game and you're cool with that, like I am so my mind is blown by this studio. They just put out Friends versus Friends and they've
yeah,
got going on too. I want so bad to be a part of this world and to be living in it and to see what happens and to see this journey through and to just feel that feeling of being like on your motorcycle and badass and kicking people down and getting through this world that is gritty and hard. And I want that so bad. And I want people to experience that. And I hope that some maybe in the future some things get balanced differently. But at the moment, that's not where it is. But I still really encourage people to go check this game out.
yeah, for sure.
Jumping to another game that has an embargo for today. Slay the Princess. I know, Jenny, that this was on your list of perhaps one of your favorite games of this year. How is it holding up so far?
Absolutely loving it. for folks who aren't familiar with Slay the Princess, it's by the team at Black Tabby Games, who are just outstanding storytellers. First of all, if you haven't played their first title, Scarlet Hollow, the first chapter is free. Just go download it and play. It's one of the best horror games I've played in a long time. Second only maybe to Slay the Princess, which is their other game. In this game, you begin and you're just on a path in the woods, and you know at the end of the path is a cabin, and you are told by the narrator that you are just meant to slay the princess.
Yeah, it's
Of
very
course.
classic setup, text adventure. You're on a
Exactly.
path, you go forward. Like, I love it.
It's so good. And what I love is it takes this thing that you're familiar with, this narrative structure, the arc that you think you're going to go through, even the mechanics of a visual novel with choice and text and all of that. And every choice you make starts to unravel a little bit more of the mystery and the eeriness behind what's going on. This is very much one of those games where the fourth wall gets broken. You are uncertain of the motives of any of the characters that you meet, which include like the narrator, the princess. And so much of it is about the joy of being surprised when things happen when you make these choices. I almost don't want to go into too much detail about what specifically happens, but know that there are a lot of twists and turns, and the way that they make your choices feel really impactful by changing the smallest of details is outstanding. I don't know. You've been playing this as well. How
I
have
have
you
been.
liked
Um,
it?
I wanna shout out that the code for this game didn't go out until fairly recently, so I haven't been able to get maybe as deep as Jenny is into it. But when she says the fourth wall gets broken, like, it gets broken and broken and broken
Mhm.
and broken until the world is just not the world anymore. And then you go all the way back and do it again, and you're like, break and break and break and break. And you keep breaking this game and breaking yourself and breaking the rules and breaking everything that shouldn't be broken in a game. And then somehow it all just winds back, and you're doing different things every time. And you're like, okay, I'm starting to get an idea of what happens. And then no, that's not what's happening. And I love the way that they play, like Jenny said, they have here are the familiar things that you're used to interacting with, and they put that in your face and they mess with it. So at one point, like, you have dialogue options, but the narrator doesn't want you to pick any of them.
Yeah.
So the narrator decides to do stuff to your dialogue options, and you don't really have a choice. And a lot of it is like, do I have am I choosing anything here, or do I have
Yeah.
is this the false sense of illusion? But like, the game is actually doing that. It's not a situation where it's like, do any of my choices matter in a game? It's literally like, that's the game asking you that up front in your face, yelling it at you. And you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know." And you're having this, like, breakdown into characters breaking things, and you're breaking down, and oh my gosh, I'm so in love with this. It is the kind of meta experience I absolutely adore in a game situation. The visuals are really interesting. It is
Mhm.
somehow it's all just black and white and sort of hand-drawn
Yeah.
chalky sort of looking.
Abby hand draws it in pencil.
Yeah,
It's
It's beautiful.
it's
it's
wild.
it's
They're so
wild.
talented. I
Yeah.
don't understand it. I hate it.
It's so good. And I will shout out because when I saw this game, it was super early on. And then I found out they had Jonathan Sims, who is one of my favorite. If you've listened to, oh gosh, now I'm blanking on the podcast name. Um, Hold on, let me look it up. Jonathan Sims is just one of my favorite podcasters. He created this thing called
Oh, I
the
love that
Magnus
podcast.
Archives.
There you go.
If you are looking for a really good, like scary podcast to listen to, sort of anthology style with a big meta story that connects it eventually, listen to the Magnus Archives. I love it. Just podcast recommendation there. But the author of the Magnus Archives, his voice is so good. And when I heard him do the voice of the narrator in this game, I about died. I was so happy.
Mhm.
He's so good. And Nicole Goodnight was actually a streamer they heard playing, I think, their other game, they said, and they loved the way that she did the voices as she was streaming. They're like, you should be in our next game. So it's just like a really cool just story and sort of how they were able to source some of these folks who helped them. If you love time, like looping, recursive loops, manipulation with time, meta games, like if you are a fan of Stanley Parable, but you wanted it to be scary, like this is the game for you. It's outstanding. I'm just so proud of the team, so happy for them, and I can't wait for everyone to play this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a long experience, so
Nope.
perhaps by the time this posts, I might have finished. We will see. And for those people who are not that huge into spooky, scary games, that's not this. So if you are usually not a scary game person, this might be a game for you because it is creepy and unsettling, and there are definitely content warnings in the beginning you should pay attention to.
Mhm.
Um, but it is not a game that has jump scares. As far as I've seen, it's not that kind of horror game.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, you should be checking this game out. Like it is
Yeah.
a great time for this game to be releasing. Everyone needs to go and play it. I know that there's a lot to play right now, but
It's
like,
wide open. It's fine.
yep, Mike, I hope you get to play this soon.
I hope so. One day.
Moving on from Slay the Princess, I want to I want to talk about Tavern Talk really quickly.
Are you want to do
Um,
some tavern talk?
Tavern Talk.
Wow, we're gonna do some tavern talk.
We're gonna do some Tavern Talk
My
in
favorite
here.
podcast.
I was contacted by the team behind Tavern Talk to look into it while I don't know if it was a Steam Next Fest, but it has a demo up right now on Steam. You can go check it out. But they just kickstarted their Kickstarter. So that just went up and it funded within the first 6 hours. So it's already funded. It's
Jeez.
still going through the month. Uh, and if you want to go back this, I would recommend it. But Tavern Talk is sort of a mix between Coffee Talk and D&D. It is like Coffee Talk had that fantasy element to it, but you were in the real sort of world and you were dealing with sort of real world things. Tavern Talk is very much you are in a fantasy land. People are rangers and yeah, rogues and fighters and that sort of thing, and they're coming in for their um, brew. Like are essentially you're sort of brewing potions, like fantasy adventurers potions that give the drinker some sort of boost to their attributes. So your potions can give them like more strength or more charisma or better chance at like rolling 20s, for sneaking around or whatever. So there is that element, and then you have the element of the people who are coming in who have issues, who have problems that you're talking through. But there's also an added mechanic of you hear rumors. Obviously, you're a bartender, you're hearing things, you're picking up, bits and pieces as people are coming in. And as you put those together, if you get kind of three rumors associated with something, you can put it together and make it a quest and put it on your quest board so that the people coming in can pick up a quest. And then if they've picked up the quest and they're talking to you, you can like help them out by giving them a potion that will change the course of whether or not they do a quest this way or that way, or whether they fail or succeed. So you're sort of influencing the world a lot more than you would in, say, Coffee Talk, where you are kind of more passively just hearing people's stories and things are playing out. Here you are really kind of influencing the world. I don't know why I had that inflection there, but I'll keep it. Uh, and I really, really enjoy this. So far, all of the chatter has been really fun. I Making drinks is a lot more fun for me than in Coffee Talk because there's okay. First of all, best part of this game I should have led with. is Andu. He's my little squishy purple dragon friend. And he just sits there while at the drink station. He's just like, I'm doing great. I got big eyes. I'm so cute. But if you mess up, he becomes a little trash can. So you can like pour some of your drink. You don't have to pour the whole thing, which is nice. You can pour like the part you messed up, and he'll just open his little mouth, and he's so excited to drink your messed up potion. Um, and then if when you get to the end, if you've done everything correctly, he'll also hold up a sign that says the drinks and names, so you know you've done it correctly. And you can just ding the bell, and it magically teleports to the customer who ordered. And it's just a lot of fun. All of your ingredients are fantasy themed things. So you've got liquids that are helping with courage and strength and charisma and intelligence, and combining those in different ways creates different drinks. And it's just it's beautiful to look at. It's hand drawn ish. It's got that sort of like early flash game but made into hand drawn sort of aesthetic, which I really really love. Yeah, and I'm excited to play this. It is obviously very early in development because they just started their Kickstarter, but I want to see where this goes. I want to see where people end up. Like I had a very timid ranger come in, and she was getting tired of her life. The forest is same bushes, same dragons or whatever she deals with every day. She took off on a quest. I want to see how my choice of giving her, I gave her a charisma potion to see if she could talk down the situation. I want to see how she does. I want to see if she's okay. If I hope I didn't kill her. Or him. It might be a they. I don't know. I'm sorry if I messed up your pronouns, Ranger. Um, but I want to see this person succeed so bad, and I'm afraid that I made choices that might make them not succeed, and that's such a great feeling for just a short demo. So that is called Tavern Talk, and I really want people to go check that out. Let's go
Sounds
with
great.
yeah, go
Like
check it out.
genuinely.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it sounds really cute.
Let's head over to Mike for a game that we recently talked about. It seems like you were inspired to play.
Jenny being the influencer that she is, I despite me like seeming like I knew a lot about it, I never finished it, so I did go back and started a new game in Bramble.
Ooh.
It's so good.
Yeah.
We talked about it exhaustively last week, but like,
Yeah,
goddamn, it's so good.
Yeah.
it's so
I'm
good.
just past the point of like the moment that went viral with a certain musician,
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
which is great. Yeah, it's probably one of the strongest uh kind of inspired games by like a Little Nightmares or something. Like it just feels good. It's stunning. Again, it's one of those games that like I don't know how it's a video game just because how pretty it looks,
Yeah.
and it's one of those horror games that yeah, despite its wholesomeness with the little gnomes that sound like little babies and how vibrant and bright things could be, like there is some gnarly stuff in this game, and I really appreciate that juxtaposition.
100%. A similar situation for a game Jenny's been playing, something that's super well designed that we have talked about before, but Jenny, go for it.
Yeah, I think you and Mike both played Cocoon, and
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I knew I was going to play it, but especially after you all talked about it, I was like, all right, I got to dive in. I'm not done. I think I'm about halfway through. Golly, that game is so well
It's
designed.
so good.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
so good. I think what amazed me the most currently is how there is no dialogue, no text, nothing is told to you ever. And yet, as a player, there are moments where I'm like, I don't know if I'm headed the right direction. I sure hope this is. And it always seems to work out just fine.
Mhm.
Like, what incredible, impeccable design. So yeah, I'm loving it. My brain is bending, melding into itself as I jump into worlds and out of worlds and into marbles. And oh, it's beautiful. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it ends. I'm probably going to be finishing it on the plane to TwitchCon tomorrow. So
Oh, I love it. I would love to
excited.
be the person sitting next to you when you're like, "What? What's happening?"
I'm ready.
I love it. I love it.
We didn't
I
talk
want
about
to
last week. Could we
Oh,
highlight just the animation of going in and out of the world? It just I don't know
Oh
how
my gosh.
that is developed.
yeah.
Like how is that a thing?
It's beautiful.
It's
And like
wild.
I am not a bug person and like I should have really
It's true.
thought
You are
through
human.
like right? And I should have I was like cocoon. It's going to be a bug name. I'm looking at, even the Steam page, you can see your character has wings. Clearly this is a very bug inspired game. I think I'm amazed at the biomechanical bugginess of it. Like
Uh-huh.
not like it's all bugs and it's just like it's fascinating. I just
Yeah.
can't stop like even when I'm playing, my mouth is like slightly agape the whole time because I'm just like, it's stunning. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
100%. And because it's bugs and it's not something you'd find traditionally kind of beautiful, there is a certain element of like repulsion and beauty to it, which adds to the beauty somehow. I love it.
Hmm. Yeah.
They did great. That is a fantastic game, and if it doesn't show up for Game of the Year, I'll be very upset.
I don't know.
Uh,
I for one think Mr. Cocoon is very cute.
Good.
Charles
He's like,
Cocoon.
Charles Cocoon.
Yeah.
yes, obviously name the
Spoilers
game.
for the
That's
post
canon.
credit scene.
Hmm.
I want to shout out very quickly. I didn't get to play, but I did see a demo of Lake Season's Greetings, which
Hmm.
is the sort of wintry holiday season DLC coming up for the game Lake, where if you've not played before, you play as a mail delivery person and you are going around essentially a small town around a lake and talking to people, giving packages out, handing out mail, and developing relationships and seeing where things go from there. It's very adventure game. It is very peaceful and meditative. The snow makes it even more so. You get this lovely um, kind of winter wonderland. Everyone's in the holiday seasons. You get a lot of lights and uh, you're getting new music for the holidays. You're getting a lot of fun spoofs off of, like, if you go into, there's a video store, it's around the holiday season, so they have holiday spoofs for their movies. It's really, really fun and interesting. So go check that out. I have a preview up on my website. But the thing I really want to shout out, I played on the Indie Informer's birthday stream, and I finally got to go back to it a little bit, and that's Moonstone Island. It is so interesting how everything is packed together. It is a you just stuck all sorts of genres into a blender and stuck it around, and everything came out beautifully, and I can't wait to play more of it. You play as a young budding alchemist who is off on her own to, I don't know, it's a sort of rite of passage to become a full alchemist. And it is a mixture between sort of a Stardew Valley type situation. You're starting your own little, it's not really a farm, but we'll say home, and you can grow crops and things. You can make your own potions and alchemist type things, but also it is Pokemon. So while you're out in the world, you can capture and um, fight with is not really the right word, maybe, but you can come up into combat with these little guys, little cute little guys. And every time I see them, like, there's one that looks like the soot spirits from
Hmm.
like Ghibli games. I'm like, I really want a little soot spirit. Um, and there is also, like, you play the game with cards instead of just picking your attack or whatever. So you can upgrade your cards and you can find cards and buy cards through different, like, merchants. So yeah, it's just so many, like, different genres altogether. I'm wondering what Mike's up to. I don't know if he can hear us anymore. Maybe we should say nice things about him. That should be our tradition. If someone's not around, we should say nice things.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good tradition.
yeah, Mike is so nice.
Yeah, he's so great. Taste in music is impeccable.
Absolutely fantastic. Like, he has this sort of ability that I'm really jealous of. If you watch him go live streaming, he just gets a game. He'll just get in there.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, I get what's happening. And
Yep.
immediately I'm like, I hate you, Mike.
Yep. So
You're so good
talented.
at this. So yeah, that's all of the.
For those who are just listening, Mike has stepped away for a minute. We're not quite
Yeah.
sure why.
He's
He'll be back.
crawling around on the ground. Maybe the spiders are attacking. We hope the best for him, but he might have to join Janet in the fight against the
Yeah.
spiders. Who knows? How you doing?
Hi. For context for video people, Mr. Charles Cocoon made an appearance in my room and freaked me the fuck out.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
dang.
okay.
Whoa.
He was a big boy.
Wow.
We were
It's
pretty
like
close.
Beetlejuice. We summoned
We
Charles
summoned
Cocoon.
Charles Cocoon.
I just saw something moving on the corner of my eye. I was like, Harley's behind me in bed. What is that?
And
There-
good thing Harley didn't see it.
There's some gnarly bugs in North Carolina.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Come to the West Coast. You're on the wrong side.
Why are you on the paper towels now, Kat? Where were you 5 minutes ago?
Cat's always useful. So with the shout out to Moonstone Island, that's the end of this week's council. Thank you to everyone joining us. We are glad we could all be here. Hopefully the entire group will be able to get together very soon once the Spider Menace is taken care of. But you can follow us. You can check out the latest episodes, past episodes, new episodes coming up on YouTube. I will put up, but also Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google for as long as Google Podcast is a thing. The Indie Council also has its own socials. Typically, those are run by Janet. And as she is bravely defending us against outside forces, those have not seen much, but keep an eye on them because we're going to start posting things again. This session is closed. Go play some indies.